I've never liked camping. The dirt, the bugs, the nights that feel colder than they should. But my father loved the wild, and every summer he'd drag me into the woods to disconnect. By high school, I'd had enough. I begged him to let me bring a friend. He agreed, so I brought Charles, a boy who actually loved camping, a boy who knew how to survive out there. I had no idea how much that would matter. The trip went wrong before we even set up the tent. Our campsite booking had been botched. Instead of the quiet wilderness we expected, we ended up somewhere strange. Paved paths, indoor bathrooms, a playground, and right next to it, an amusement park, roller coasters, carnival lights. In the middle of the woods, everyone was furious. This wasn't camping. But we had no choice, so we stayed. That night, after the adults went to sleep, Charles had an idea. Let's climb the roller coaster, he said. It sounded thrilling. Stupid, but thrilling. We slipped past a fence, past the guards patrolling in golf carts, and we climbed the maintenance stairs. No railing, just us in the dark, until we reached the top. The view was unreal. But getting back down, that's whenever. Youthing changed. We were minutes from the fence when we had to hide from a passing guard. That's when I saw something move in the shadows. At first, I thought it was nothing, a trick of the headlights. Then Charles grabbed my arm. They're 30 feet away, crouched in the dark between two BU. Aldings was a man. He wasn't hiding like us. He was watching us. For 1 second, the light caught his face. Torn clothes, a strange, uneven posture, like something was wrong with his body, and smeared across his face, something dark. Wet. It looked like blood. We didn't move. We didn't breathe. Eventually, he vanished into the dark. We ran, climbed the fence, got back to our tent, and lay therein. Silence, too afraid to sleep. The next morning, a camp staffer came to every tent with an announcement. A man had been murdered the night before, stabbed to death at a lake 4 miles away. The killer, still on the loose, disheveled, sure. Pless, possibly covered in blood. Charles and I looked at each other. We both knew. We never told anyone what we saw that night. To this day, I still wonder what would have happened if he'd stepped just a little closer. I tried to slip past him. The moment I touched him, he leaned down, slow, deliberate, like he wanted to see my face up close. Then he lunged. I ran. He chased me. Through an empty station, nobody around to help. I looked back once. His stride was wrong. Jerky, like his limbs didn't move the way limbs should. And in his hand, a knife. I made it up the stairs, out onto the street, straight to the police. By the time they searched the station, he was gone. No trace, no name, no explanation. Just one more clown sighting in a year full of them. Except this one nearly got me killed. Not every scary story needs a monster in the dark. Sometimes a monster smiles at you and hands you a paycheck. I was fresh out of college, broke, bouncing between odd jobs. Then I found a listing, a lifeguard job at a hotel a few towns over. Something about it felt off from the start. The hours ran backwards, a night shift pool, open from evening deep into the early morning. And one requirement stood out. They didn't want anyone who spoke SP. Unish. I'm fluent, half Mexican. I decided to lie. At the interview, one man tested me, spoke to me in Spanish, watching my face for a reaction that I gave him nothing. He laughed it off, said he was just messing with me. I believed him. For a while, the job was simple. At first, guard the pool, collect money from outsiders. And one more thing, if anyone showed me a blue wristband, let them into the pool house behind me. No questions. Weeks passed. More and more wristbands. More strangers. Men would go into that pool house and come out with fuller bags than they went in with. The money I was collecting didn't add up. People were overpaying. A lot. When I asked about it, I was told not to worry, and tease when it hit me. This wasn't hotel puh. Oh well, this was a front. I told myself my hands were clean. I was just a lifeguard. Then one day, I saved a drowning child. The whole pool cheered. The boss came down personally to thank me because the child was his son. The next day, they toasted me with wine. One of the men raised his glass and made a toast in Spanish, celebrating all the lives they were destroying. Everyone laughed. I smiled along. Inside, I understood exactly what I'd walked into. Then, one afternoon, my mother called. I answered in Spanish, the only language she spoke. When I turned around, one of the men was standing there, watching me. He asked how long I'd known Spanish. I lied, said I was just learning. He stared at me for what felt like an eternity, like he was deciding something. Then he simply said, "Okay," and walked away. The next day, he told me to come in early, said he had a new opportunity for me. He tipped me a few dread dollars and walked back inside. I never went back. To this day, I don't know what that opportunity would have been, but I know this, the way he looked at me that afternoon. There was only one thing on his mind. 3 nights, 3 close calls. Some stories end with an answer. These didn't. If this kept you up a little, you know what to do. Subscribe, because the next one might be worse. I was 16 years old. It was just a normal Friday night. Or at least, that's what I thought. By the end of it, I would be standing outside my own house, too afraid to go back in. I grew up in a big suburban house. Looked completely normal from the outside, but it had one big quirk. The basement. It was huge, finished, a hangout space, a couch, a TV, a couple of storage rooms in the back. My parents almost never used it, so it became mine. There was a door down there too, one that connected straight to the garage. Officially for groceries, unofficially for sneaking people in. That Friday, I invited a girl over. Meline. We went down to the basement. I figured my cat, Rocky, was already down there. He usually was by that hour. So when I heard a noise from one of the storage rooms, I didn't think anything of it. Just a rustle, boxes shifting. That's what an energetic cat sounds like. At least, that's what I told myself. The sound kept happening. Every few minutes. A rustle, a soft thud. Meline kept glancing toward the back of the basement. I kept telling her it was nothing, just a cat. He likes to climb. I believed that, right up until I heard something else. Scratching. At the door. The one at the top of the basement stairs. The door that led back into the house. I knew that sound. It was Rocky, trying to get in, which meant he was never down there with us, which meant whatever had been making those noises wasn't him. Before I could even process that thought, Meline started screaming. I turned around. A foam football, rolling across the basement floor, thrown from inside the storage room. I couldn't see anyone. It was too dark back there, but there was no other explanation. Someone was in that room. Someone had been in that room the entire time. I grabbed Meline. I dragged her up the stairs, slammed the door shut behind us. She was crying. I was shaking. I didn't even know I could feel that kind of fear. My parents called the police. They searched everything. The basement, the garage, every storage room. Nothing. No one. No forced entry. Every window locked from the inside. One officer had a theory that the intruders slipped out through the garage before they arrived. But I was standing on that back deck, watching the garage the entire time. I would have seen them. There's only one way out, and my eyes never left it. My parents didn't fully believe me. I could see it in my dad's face. But I know what I know. No one left through that garage. We never got an answer. I still don't have one. Somewhere in that house, someone was hiding, and to this day, I don't know how they got out.